Hello, this is Larry Ellis, and I am a candidate for the Humphreys County Assessor of Property for the 2012 election on August the 2nd later this year. And I wanted to show you some things that cause me concern, and they are issues that I believe that are working against equity and property assessment and taxation in our Humphreys County assessment role. As I said earlier, this is not an attack upon an individual, but this is to show you that there are things that could make, there are changes that could be made to the assessments and assessment practices in Humphreys County that would effect more fair and more equitable assessments to the taxpayers. And I want to present some of those to you. The first one I'm going to start with is regarding quality of a house. I'm talking about construction grade. You know, there are a number of different qualities of products that are around. If you're talking about cars, you know, you may be dealing with a more inexpensive, low-cost type cars. I'm thinking when it comes to like the lower models of the Kia and Hyundai and maybe Nissan and Toyota. Not being critical of those, just pointing to you some of the most low cost of those vehicles. You can graduate on up and go on up to better quality cars. You know, you can get on up to your medium Chevrolet, Dodge, Ford type cars, or get into Cadillacs and Lincoln town cars, Continentals, maybe cars like Mercedes-Benz or Audi might be a little better. Somewhere in there, there's Acuras and Lexus cars. There are Rolls-Royce and I guess Lamborghinis. You could look at these vehicles and you could stratify them or group them into various qualities of cars. And usually the higher quality car is going to cost more money. And this is important because it relates to the concept of assigning a quality or a grade, construction grade of a property, whether it be a residential, commercial, industrial, whatever the type of real property it may be. They also can be at different grades. You can have those that are built low cost materials that are used. You can have a lower quality of workmanship of a house. And you can have those that are built by professionals that are custom built homes as well, and higher quality materials, higher quality workmanship and fixtures that are used. So there's a wide range of quality of houses, and quality is one of the major components. I suspect of all components, you'd have four that would really have a tremendous impact, an incredible impact on the final valuation of the property. That, of course, would be the size, whether you're talking about the size of the improvement per square foot, cubic foot, or whether it be the number of land units you may have, acres, square feet, front feet. Those would be very important. The location, of course, is very important to any property. And the quality is just another one of those that makes a tremendous impact upon the property when you go to place it on the market. Tennessee's tax system is an ad valorem tax for property tax, and that means it is based on value, and the law requires the assessor to value the property at market value. So this can have an impact upon the value of any individual property, and whenever the assessor completes their reappraisal program, part of it is looking at the properties and measuring and listing them on their record cards and denoting the proper characteristics of that property. And if these are off, then you're not going to have accurate assessments. So I want to show you some of this. And first I'm going to start with looking at the quality, as I said. And I have a house show here on my website at www.votelarryellis.com. This is a picture of a house very near where I live. It's an average house, average quality. You can see low cost windows. They're not very large. The roof is really low pitch, and just probably average materials. Then I'm going to show you a couple of more pictures here. Here's another one of an average house, average quality material and workmanship. Might be a little above average in some aspects. You can see the windows are a little larger than the other one. Perhaps the other one could have fell somewhat in the below average. You know, in the assessor's system, there's like a provision for 16 different categories of quality, and many times in cost manuals where appraisers or other people who are constructing property are looking at estimating the replacement cost new of a house. There are numerous of those, like in Marshall and Swift. They have different grades of property depending upon how it's constructed. Use terms like low cost, average, good, very good, excellent, and then you can go into different categories. Well, in the assessor's program, computer program is used, there's 16, although you can go to an unlimited amount. But they're basically 16, and I believe for Humphreys County and for most of our rural counties here in Tennessee, you probably should use, well, probably at least 6 and possibly 8 different quality structures to bring about equality in the assessments. In Humphreys County, only 3 are being used. Those are the 3 bottom ones, and I'll talk a little more about that in a moment. Now, those were 2 average quality structures, houses, and then here's another one in a subdivision that is above average. I believe it's going to be rather easy for everyone to see. There are things like the windows. I don't know how much you can tell about this. I'll try to zoom in a little bit. But the windows they're not your cheap standard windows. They are decorative. The house has a lot of design to it. Changes in the roof slope. And actually, I have been in this house. I know the man who originally built it, and know it's a custom built house, and it's a quality house. And you can see things whenever you go to a house, determine the quality and the materials. Things like 9-foot ceilings, the plumbing fixtures, the cabinet countertops. Are they expensive? Are they granite type, Corleone, or Formica cabinet tops? All of those are indicative of quality. Lighting and plumbing fixtures, as I said. There can be expensive ornamental features that would be noted on the house inside and out, cornice work, and also the crown molding inside, the cabinet work, type of material it's made out of, and the design and how ornamental they may be. As I said, window quality, whether they're Anderson windows or they're just a standard unit that is purchased at a department store. The door entrances. Many times you see the elaborate door entrances in other houses, like the first 2 houses are pretty much just standard entrances for those. But anyway, let's look at this house. This particular house sold for $260,000 5 years before the assessor's reappraisal in 2011, January 1st, 2011. And that appraisal was $190,200. So that's about $70,000 difference, about $70,000 difference. I was going to say $69,800. The assessor's value is only 73% of the selling price. And I know we've had a little downturn in the market, and the market's never fixed. It fluctuates. But looking at all the sales on the streets that occurred during that time period, and looking at the valuation of the assessor's records on those, what I did find on these was that most of the houses on that street, most of them were a little inferior to this. Most of them were average type houses, but they were appraised at about the same value as what the selling price was, or reasonably close. But yet this house is appraised considerably below. Well, it's at 73% of the selling price. And that's quite a difference. And I believe the difference is made up because of the quality. Because on the assessor's records, The quality of this house is called average. Now, that just doesn't seem fair. The first two houses that I showed you were much inferior as far as design and quality of materials. And I think even to the untrained person who is not an appraiser or an assessor, it's easy to see that there's a difference in the quality of those. But nevertheless, there was the issue there with that. There was one exception to that, and there's another house that seemed to be of above average quality that sold for $250,000, and the assessor had it appraised for $180,000. There again, 28% below market value of what it sold for, and or 72% of value, very similar to the other one. And again, it was called average quality, and the MLS number on it is 135-9403 for those who want to look that up. It's currently listed by a realtor though for $269,000, but yet appraised for $185,000, and that's just too low. And I believe the difference is if the houses were appraised at the quality that the houses truly are, the custom built houses. Now, most of the houses in that subdivision were built by our local builder. Everyone knows him. He built a very affordable house and here in New Johnsonville, and helped keep the housing prices down low. But these custom houses that are built, they are much better in quality. Now, doesn't rating similar houses differing in quality really discriminate against some taxpayers? And that disparity is causing others to pay more than their fair share. And this practice is unfair, and such valuation practice is toxic to assessment equity and fairness. Now, the assessors that I worked with over in West Tennessee, Region 1 for so many years, we focused on this. They made great improvements, and by the time I had left, there really wasn't a real problem with this, but yet I see a good bit of it here in Humphreys County. And I want to tell you that I will work to remove this inequity from the assessment program in Humphreys County if you will vote for me as your next assessor of property. I'll present some more of these in just a little. Thank you, and remember, the election day is August the 2nd. Early election begins July the 13th, I believe, through the 26th at the Pavo Election Commission office in Waverly. Thank you. Have a good day.